Welcome, everybody. This is D. Durrell with the Conscious Clientele. Happy to be here once again for each and every one of you today. Know it's been a few days since I did my last live stream, but this is going to be a good one. I know, guys, you're kind of looking at, D. Durrell has not been as active in the sector. I've been doing a little bit more presence in the manosphere lately, been in the manosphere spaces, kind of getting reoriented to the subject matter that's presently going on. A lot of different things going on there. Again, like I told you all a couple of weeks ago, prior to me going on my vacation, I'm going to be doing content on manosphere type topics, black sector topics. Still going to be doing my Umar Johnson sector. I'm going to be doing a mixture of two. And definitely, this is one that I want everybody to watch. What's up, Micah Israel? What's up, Rollo? What's up, LaFame One? What's up, Poetic Flacco? Muslim, what's going on? What's up? That's my bike punch. 89. What's up, man? We're gonna have a good one today. We're gonna have a real good one. Now, right now, guys, I'll be honest with you, I had some computer issues going on with some of my laptops. I started late because I was in there trying to figure out some things with the computer technician, so they're going to take care of my computers. I'm probably going to end up having to buy some new computers because the amount for some of the technical issues, I'm just better off just buying brand new laptops. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. So I kind of had to lag for at least 20 plus minutes dealing with that. Once I get back to my office, I'm going to start showing some clips of things that I want you all to hear. I want you all to see. For the next 15, 20 minutes, I'm just going to dialogue with you and kind of talk to you about the issues that I'm having with this person that you see in the thumbnail there. And I'm going to give a background, uh, some background information on why I chose to do this type of content and why I chose to talk about him and why I chose to call him a fraud. I do think he is a fraud. And I'm going to give you all the basis of why I feel that way in the first place. So first and foremost, guys, you all know I'm in the manosphere a lot, okay? But some of you all that's in the manosphere, the manosphere is full of simps, like Micah Israel saying. It is. And this guy named The Honest Truth. The Honest Truth, far as from what I can remember, I think he's been around for about a year, but I didn't begin hearing about The Honest Truth till about probably maybe 5 months ago, 6 months ago. I would say somewhere around that time. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. There are things that The Honest Truth says that I agree with. A lot of the takes that he says about the manosphere, I'm going to say about 50% of it I do agree with. I actually learned about this brother from BMT. The first time I ever came across this brother was about 6 or 7 months ago. He was on my brother BMT Black Male Talk channel, and we were talking about the manosphere, the crazy shit that goes on in the manosphere, a lot of the simping shit that goes on, a lot of the crazy stuff that these guys say, and so on. And he was in there talking about and challenging some of the things that these guys were saying. Because at the time, BMT had a lot of guys a lot of the extremists in the manosphere. BMT would attract them because BMT, they would go to BMT because he allowed them to say a lot of extreme, crazy stuff that is off the wall. And so self-love here, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to what I don't agree with. Okay? Now, I want to talk about what we do agree with first. Now, when he was on BMT's platform, the thing that I took notice of him was that the fact that he talked about black male accountability. He talked about black men being better men. He talked about black men improving themselves and developing themselves. He talked about the lack of accountability in the manosphere, crying about black women all the time. He talked about all of these different things in which a lot of guys, not everybody in the manosphere does this, but there's a lot of guys in the manosphere that constantly blame women serially every goddamn day. And I did agree with that. But see, this brother, to me, started off good. Okay, in my opinion. I watched him quietly over time. And I remember when the honest truth would go live or did videos. I remember when the honest truth had 10 to 20 people in his chat. Now the brother's doing 350 or even 400 plus. Yeah, and Brother Speak was there. Brother Speak, and I'm gonna ask Brother Speak to come on the panel. I definitely want you to come on the panel. Once I get situated in the office, I want you to come up and we can discuss this, because the brother came on BMT's panel. He came with the heat. I agree with a lot of what he was saying, but there's a problem. See, this is the problem, and I'm gonna point out the problem. And if he's listening, I want you to listen to this little young brother, because I'm speaking the truth. Okay? And if you like it or not like it, the truth is the truth. It's not to like or dislike. It's to accept. Accept the truth for what it is. Brother. And I even had an argument, not an argument, but a disagreement with Up the Unicorn about this when I was basically on a panel a lot more about him in this situation. Just like guys in the manosphere who will gravitate towards this channel over dysfunction, pain, breakups, being hurt, being disappointed by females. Brother, you told your story, and your story was basically equivalent to the typical manosphere guy. You told your story of the fact that you, quote unquote, worked in tech. Now, we've heard that before. You know, how many guys in the manosphere claim they making 100,000 in tech? Shit, damn near everybody claim. If you ask them what they do, they claim that they coding, they claim that they're a programmer, they lying their asses off. I'm not saying he's lying, but what I'm saying is that you came with the same manosphere talking point, the same manosphere sob story. Yes, the honest truth. You the one came on YouTube telling all your business, mad and sad, and your panties all in a bunch because your girlfriend left you. How many times do we have to hear about the breakup that led to the red pill rage? That led to swallowing the pill? How many? He did the same shit. He came on BMT's channel talking about it and started talking about, look at me. Yeah, man, my girlfriend left me because I got laid off of my job during COVID. But you know what, guys? It's not her fault. I just got to be a better man. Now, what kind of weak ass shit is that? What type of weak ass shit is that? You mean to tell me that, and see, and to me, this is when I knew I had my issues with him being a simp ass Negro. Because my thing is that just because I reinforce black male accountability doesn't take away black female fuckery. Doesn't take away black females doing all types of shit. Don't mean that they're immune from doing something wrong. Because just because you lost your job doesn't mean a female has to leave you unless she never wanted you other than for your resources in the first place. But see, this is the problem with the manosphere guys. This is the problem with guys like the honest truth. In some way within their perception of issues as it becomes to relationships, it's flawed. With the manosphere, when they have issues that led to them being red pill in the first place, they 100% give the blame to the female. The honest truth blamed himself for something that he had no control over. And he kept saying this stuff, I have to be a better man. Well, brother, there's nothing wrong with attempting to be a better man, because every man should want to vow to be a better man every day. But it's something called shit just happens in life that's out of your control, out of my control. And if a female wants to be with you, she will be with you and help you and be there with you to support you through finding another job. You mean to see this? This is how a lot of guys that are red pill get screwed over by women, because they don't know how to assess situations accurately as it relates to interaction with women. See, a lot of guys, if you hear a lot of guys in the manosphere, they will give you journals full of stories of how they were unable to measure a situation with a female. They were unable to problem solve. They were unable to think logically and effectively about the set situations that occurred and how they should carry themselves, how they should make decisions. This brother lost his job and blamed himself for losing his girlfriend. This is what the honest truth did. Now, I'm not going to talk about things in a therapeutic manner for that. But see, if I was counseling, and I counsel guys like this, there's something called cognitive restructuring of thoughts. You see, you cannot think in a manner that's not appropriate for the situation and get mad at other people for having a different perception of your mistakes. You know, my thing is that this brother came on here, lost his job. He was all sad and depressed and down on his luck because he lost his girl. The chick didn't want you. The chick wanted you for your resources. No woman who truly loves a man, who truly wants to be with you, is going to leave you because you lost your job. She was out the door the next day. That lets me know now the appropriate reaction would be like, well, I'm glad she showed me who she truly was before I decided to put a ring on it. I'm glad she showed me that obviously she didn't love me for me. She loved me for what I had. Obviously, I um, you know, assessed whether or not, I was the right one for her or not. Maybe I need to go back to the drawing board and re-look at how I approach relationships and the type of women that I choose. Because I can guarantee you for this simp ass Negro, the honest truth. That chick that he met was probably a chick that he decided to be with out of lust. I guarantee you, he's a young man. I guarantee you, if you look at the situation, he was with that chick because of how she looked and for the sex, which is something that a lot of young men do, including myself when I was young. Okay? He did not look at this lady's character at all. Because if he is as intelligent as he wants people to think he is, he should have applied that same intelligentsia and vetting this woman to understand this chick only wanted me for my money. And I'm going to be honest with you. When women only want you for your money, they make it quite obvious. Women that are out gold digging and so forth, they let you know from the jump. You'll look at your bank account when you dating a woman as opposed to before you're dating, and you'll see a dip in that income. You'll see a dip in that check balance, your check account balance, and you'll know something is the difference. Let's just be honest with it. Let's just be honest. So, guys, we're getting in the elevator, and we're gonna continue to discuss. I'm getting in the elevator as we speak, so I'm gonna continue to talk, but just let you know where I'm at. But this brother came on here, and I'm like, you use a very poor example of why you use why you have issues with the manosphere based on you having a similar experience. You both, not only you, but also a lot of these simp ass Negroes in the manosphere who claim to be red pill, both have issues with making decisions, assessing relationships, functioning in relationships, communicating, protecting yourself. And in all essence, you have problems with understanding female nature, particularly black female nature. You don't understand it. And in my analysis of you, the way you continue to operate and going down this road of being disingenuous, now you've gotten to a point where we knew you were broke after you got fired. We could definitely look at your apartment and tell you're lacking. Now it got to a point where you realize that I can make money off of this. Now I'm going to placate the black females now. I'm going to say a lot of disingenuous shit so that I can have more black women super chatting me, supporting my platform. But my name is getting around the streets, the YouTube streets. So now I'm going to allow black women to come on my panels and say all types of all types of ignorant things that are irrepresentable. And I'm going to sit there and laugh. I'm going to sit there and I am going to sit there and okay it. And I'm going to laugh and giggle about these black women actually talking about the group that I represent. I'm a black man, but I'm going to sit there like a buffoon and allow black women to talk ill of black men in such the most foul of manner, I may say. Matter of fact, even from himself, even myself, I'm looking at this like, dude, you're letting these women say all of this, I mean, just this stuff is just wrong, ignorant information, stuff that's just not true, unsubstantiated. The claims that they make, unfounded. You allow these women to say all of these dangerous statements that are not only hurtful to black men, but it miseducates young black women. And he doesn't even realize it. And it fosters a negative perception of young, impressionable black men that don't know the difference. Facts. Give me a second, guys. I'm about to transfer from my phone to my computer. Okay, guys, I am back. Now I'm back. I'm glad to be back. I'm chilling here. I'm sitting here at my computer down, and I want to have this conversation. Black is Beautiful says, "Aren't you the one? Aren't you the ones that say you guys won't protect us?" No, I am not the ones that stated I won't protect you. Black men protect black women all the time. Black men protect black women all the time. Okay? Black men protect black women all the time. But what I'm not going to encourage black men to do is to just irresponsibly put yourself at risk of getting killed on the misbehavior of black women or any person, period. Outside of somebody you love and cherish,
family members, and etc. No, it is not your job as a black man to put your life on the line for black women for any reason. Now, there are reasons that should be where you can put and give them that protection, or at least put yourself in a situation to diffuse violence from occurring. But to just willfully, you know, go out on suicide missions. Oh, a black woman is in a, I'm just gonna throw myself in front of the bullet. No. No, I'm not going to advise any black man to do. I would not advise my own 15-year-old son to do that. I would not advise my 15-year-old son to do that. And even with my adult daughters, I would never advise them to be in situations where they intensify a conflict where they would need protection. Because see, that shit goes both ways. Now, what I'm getting ready to do, guys, I'm going to let you all hear the honest truth. The honest fraud, by the way. And I want you to understand the context of the context of this, the reason why I'm making this video. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, like I told you all, guys, I have been very skeptical of him. I have watched him slowly but surely as he has evolved. When he had a smaller platform, when he had a smaller a platform with a smaller participation in the chat, I was in more agreement with what he was saying. As he got larger, I noticed that he became a person that just, placated to whatever women said. He became, to me, more of the protagonist as to just using black female YouTube toxic talking points against his own demographic. And to just sit there and weather all of the negativity that these women would say about black men, to me, was cowardly and yellow. And that's what he is. And so I know a lot of you guys are like, well, who the hell is this guy? I'm showing you also the video. Now I'm going to show you this video. This is fair use. Fair use. Fair use. I want everybody to put fair use. I'm doing this in fair. This is in any way to disparage this young brother, the honest fraud. But what I'm saying is that it's obvious to me when he first decided to start doing content, he had a certain perspective. And as he evolved over time, he saw money. He probably saw other women throwing ass at him through giving them pics, emails, and all this other stuff about wanting him. And then he changed. Listen, man, it don't matter how popular you are as a YouTuber. Everybody goes through that. Okay? Hell, my name has been put in certain scandals on more than one occasion with females. I've been looked at as a person, one of the most hated people in the manosphere. Last night, I was on the Prophet of Thought series. I was going at it with at least 3 or 4 guys that I hadn't talked to in months. I had people in the chat talking about feminism and all this other craziness about what black women done and this and that. Then you got a fool named like by the name of J.I. that been on my platform that he claimed I banned him, but I didn't. Talking about, we shouldn't be seeing color. Racism is fading away and saying all this and talking about knowing damn well his dad and his grandfather that lived in racist ass Mississippi. He keep telling this story about black people in Mississippi not experience racism. D. Durrell, you are the most hated. I'm the most hated. Hi, K Business Podcast. Oh, well, I love that distinction. Love it. So I want you all to hear this, and I want you all to give me because I want you to see to look at the environment that this brother talks, the texture of his statements. Okay, we're gonna start right here.
Many states over the years have shifted away from permanent spousal support. However, male and female spousal support still remains. A little nugget of information there, huh? I'll explain why I'm talking about this in a second. We're going to open up the panel here. 174 people. We're going to open up the panel. If you disagree with me, now's your time to show up. Now's your time to show up. We'll open up the panel to our ladies as well.
Of course.
And who knows, if no men show up, then we'll end up just having a conversation with ourselves. All right. There's still plenty to talk about. Why did I share the same screen? Let me share the link.
Oh, and also I want to make another point, guys. And see this, and to me, this is what's so genocidal about the divestment community, pink pill communities, even this guy. This guy gives support and tries to misuse research to support why black women should not marry and not be involved with black men. And he's a black man. Why would you encourage black women not to be with you? Why would you encourage black women not to love you and not to want to procreate with you and have children and develop stable relationships with other men outside of your community? Why are you working against yourself? The honest truth. To me, again, this is about money. This is about cash apps. This is about making money. You probably didn't get your contract job back that you was making $100,000. So this is the way you're going to replace that and supplement that income. Hey, brother, I feel you. Everybody has a hustle on YouTube. But let's get back to it.
I have a few more really interesting things to show you. Oh, man. You know I'm always fighting for receiving spousal support. However, on the flip side, if you make a larger amount of money and get your doctor's degree, you're vilified for putting your career first because you're not following the roles of a traditional woman. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, ladies and gentlemen. Traditionalism in the manosphere, 2021 term is doing more for less. You cannot fight for traditional slave submission relationship if you're not fulfilling the traditional roles, man. You cannot tell Miss
Listen to this. He called slave submission. Listen to that. Look at this term. Slave submission. He thinks that a woman showing submission to her husband is slave submission. Look at the terminology.
Average at best to go to a lower average man and then submit to that lower average man. That's not the way it works. Let's move on really quickly. I have this video. I want to show you this video following our last week's conversation, or last 2 days conversation of the 1200-year slave mentality of black men. This video is absolutely amazing. And some of y'all saw this on the Lexus Exodus channel. For our audio listeners, you really are going to kind of miss a little bit of this video by not watching it right now. And let me make sure that the comment is pinned, by the way, also. I need to make sure that this comment is pinned. Okay, the comment is pinned. There you go. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into this. Our audio listeners, you'll be able to hear what's going on, but I'll explain to you what's going on. All right? Once again, thank you, Lexus Exodus, for showing this. What you're getting ready to see, ladies and gentlemen, is quite literally a music video based on slavery. I just can't. Oh, man, Negroes, they'll find a way. My brothers will find a way. Yeah, you heard it right. So let's go ahead and watch this.
Now, I'm not going to play this because I think everybody has seen this, and I'm not trying to I'm not going there and talking about this slavery depiction of a black man marrying a white woman. I'm not getting into that. I want to focus on the honest fraud. So let's move on.
Holding deep inside of her heart and just didn't want to tell him until she showed up to the panel, right? She wasn't even thinking about a high value guy. She's just thinking about a guy who's not in prison right now as a man that she would actually choose to marry. But they formalized this identity. Thank you for doing it, Cash App. That, oh no, you're lying. You really want a 6-figure high earning guy. You're lying to us right now. But what I saw shocked me even further. Myron and the Fresh and Fit podcast users and commenters actually agreed with the girl. But let me show you the comments. This was crazy. I said, oh my God, what am I reading right now? What's going on? I'll show you. I'll show you why I'm so impressed. I said, wow, maybe there is hope. I don't know if they're black or if they're white. I don't know what they are. But these are the comments that were underneath the video. The top comment I saw was, I have an immense respect for this channel, the comment states. This is in support of the woman. I have an immense respect for this channel. Many things y'all say is on point. However, the only thing I have to critique about this channel, any question y'all present is a lose-lose scenario-wise. What do we always say on this channel? What do I always say with the manosphere men and these conversations that you have with them? You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You decide to lose weight, you decide to go to the gym, oh, you're just focusing on your outer layer. You're just focusing on your external. You're not focusing on the inside or making yourself a better person. Oh, you go to Brazil to get a Brazilian bubble. Oh, you're being fake now. Now you didn't want to work out for it. You didn't want to go to the gym. You go to the gym to work out. Oh, you're wearing tights. The tights are too tight. You're distracting men from the gym now. I hate working out with women in the gym. You can't win.
See, a lot of this, again, just placating the women, just saying what women want to hear. You're not being genuine. You're not being forthcoming on what you really think. Now this has become a hustle for you. It's quite obvious to me, the honest fraud. When you start saying stuff like this, that's let me know you're not using your own input. You're just basically researching what women want to hear, and then you give your opinion. Now let me move over to his interaction with the guests.
How can you expect a dandelion to thrive in a war zone? You just can't. It just doesn't happen. I got a comment, and I saw a comment that there's another billion-dollar company or multi-billion-dollar company that's donating to Black women's entrepreneurship endeavor or entrepreneurial endeavor. And I just want to show the picture of the CEO. It looks like it's an Asian woman, but this is the CEO of that company. She's a Chinese immigrant from a Chinese immigrant family, and she's one of the most powerful women in the world. This is her right here, the woman who's donating $1 billion to our community, to the women, the Black women who have and who are striving to build the businesses that Black males have not built.
Wow.
So shout out to her.
Now listen to that. Black women to build the businesses that Black men have not built. So then, and this is another thing, and to me, if I ever have an interaction with him, why are you, as a young Black man that you are, criticizing Black men for doing things that you're not doing? What businesses are you creating? The honest truth. What opportunities are you creating for Black men? The honest truth. What positive influences are you with the Black community? If you claim and you want to criticize and objectify Black men for their failures, why are you in the same sense representing those same failures? Because I don't see you creating businesses. I don't see you creating opportunities for young Black men. I don't see you creating and producing opportunities and development for young Black boys and kids. So how are you a person that is not participating in these same things that you want to criticize Black men for? Now, I know for myself, I can give you a list of things that I'm doing. And people that watch my content know what I'm doing. And I showed my receipts. But you are in no position as a person who was just laid off like less than a year, 6-8 months ago, want to sit here and try to tell Black men what they're not building and you can't keep a job? Are you serious? The honest truth? Stop it.
And it's good to see that. We're going to see a lot more of that coming in the future because ultimately other races are starting to pull together and synergistically support what is one of the largest group of consumers in America, right? And not just that, but creators in America. I think the statistic was Black women's business building has risen year after year more than 300%, something ridiculous. It's either between like 300 or over 600%. Something ridiculous to where there's so many businesses being built. The other races of people are saying, okay, you know what? We need to go ahead and give them some infrastructure because obviously they don't have much right now. And the ones that they do have are so threatened, as we see, like the salon owner who was brutalized and brutally killed by Black men.
Wow.
They see that, okay.
Now, wait a minute. Now, you want to make a point. This is another way. You see how you just feed into what Black women. And I've noticed this is no different from people like Mama Rain, who I roasted on my channel less than a year ago, who came in here talking all that crazy stuff, supporting Black Womansphere. This is the same shit that Womansphere podcast, whatever, she didn't change her name. This is the same stuff. They identify day after day the negativity of what black men do, as if other races of men don't do bad things to their women. Just because you pointed out these anecdotal situations, which do occur and often, doesn't necessarily mean that is the representation of the aggregate. But again, brothers like this don't understand that, because again, this is about people trying to build their platforms, and it doesn't matter if they give fallacies and they create false narratives. As long as I do what black women want me to do, say what I want to say, that's simping, and they pay me for it, I'm good. Look, he got 100. He gets $100 cash apps, as you can see on the screen. Look at this. This is a money grab. That's all this is. Let me play a little bit more, and then I'm gonna go to Brother Speak.
If they are able to do it successfully, but unfortunately, in the environment that they do it in, and that they are forced to do it in, it's just not the best. It's not the best out of it, right? Even if they become successful, they're still in harm's way a lot of the time, right? So instead of them having to just start from the very bottom, why don't we recognize the greatness and the potential in them? Let's just go ahead and give them a higher pedestal to start off of, or to give them a further distance as far as starting the race to start from. So shout out to that. Thank you for the comments there. I'm excited to hear that. And we will see more companies that are going to start donating more to black women, because it's a worthwhile contribution.
Wow. So this brother sits here and says, and I'm going to go to Brother Speak, you're going to see other companies donating to black women because it's a worthwhile contribution. So you're telling me that it's not worthwhile to donate to black? It's not worthwhile to donate to black men. We built this goddamn country. It's not worthwhile. See, you got to understand, and this is the issue that I kind of agree with sometimes when we look at some of the concepts that the manosphere may say. I don't believe that black women consciously participate in the participates in devaluing black men or in the destruction of black men. But what I do think is that this system that we live in, reinforces black women that want certain opportunities, that they put themselves in a position where they feel the only way that they can be successful is by functioning in this manner. Not saying that they want to, but they feel like, if this is the only way I'm going to be successful, well, this is damn near the way I'm going to have to get it. That's what I do agree on. But what's up, Brother Speak? What's up, Brother Speak?
Hey, D. Darrell, how's it going?
What's going on, brother?
Yeah, interesting person. I'm glad you are talking about this guy, because I've been saying this for a minute, that this dude, this is a weak black male. I mean, I've seen it from the jump. When he was on BNT's panel, I've seen that from the jump. He appeases to black women, and also I don't know if you were there when we got into it, and then he got into it with Trailer Hood. Were you there for that one too?
No, I wasn't there for the Trailer Hood.
Oh, you really should see that, because he exposed himself. He's a coon. He is the definition of a coon.
What did he say?
Okay, we was talking about protection of women, okay? And then somehow we got into white men. And he asked me, well, why white men take over the world and all that? I said, well, because they wanted to. No, he was saying he was doing it for the women. I said, dude, that protection is not what you think it is. And, I try to tell him, like, these women are not as protected as you think they are. Well, why don't you go punch a white woman in the face? I'm like, I'm not doing that, man. That ain't gonna prove anything.
That's stupid.
I know, and he said that before. And I said, well, white men put themselves on a pedestal. Well, okay, but that don't mean you got to do it. I said, well, they don't need you to do it. Okay, so why are you doing it? Why are you saying they're better? I told them I put myself on a pedestal. I don't put no white men on a pedestal. Well, they still run, you still conquer. I'm like, conquered?
What the hell? Wait. Repeat that again.
He said, well, you still conquered.
You know where to get that from? They got that from you know who?
Saint G. I know. I know. That's why I'm like, but dude, I don't care if they run the country. I'm still not going to put them on a pedestal. I'm going to put myself on a pedestal. So we went back and forth. And then Trailer Hood came and asked him, I said, hey, dude, are you white? And he got mad at that. I mean, he was getting like mad and emotional about it. And he was like, and because he said, well, you're making a lot of assumptions about white men. We're trying to, and me, Trailer, and BMT trying to tell you that protection of white women that you think that's happening is not happening. But he would refuse to believe it, and then he eventually left because he got too emotional about it. And
but brother, speak. Trailer is white.
Yes.
So a white man telling him this, and he refused to listen.
Yes, he refused to listen to it.
Wow.
And so since then, he's been on other panels with me before. He was on I don't know if you heard the Ebony Star Network. Have you heard of them before?
What are they?
Yeah, we heard about them.
The Ebony Star?
Yeah, we heard about them.
Ebony Star Network by Maximum Black.
Yeah, I've heard of them before, but I never watched. I've heard of it. I've ran across, but I never watched the content.
He went over there too, and the host kicked him off because what was happening was he kept one of the women. There was another woman. I don't know if you heard of Is It Just Me podcast. Have you heard of that person?
No, I never heard of him.
Okay, she is pretty much a black feminist. She's a light skinned, I mean, damn near white feminist. She hates black men too. Because we went back and forth, and they had to kick her off the panel because she kept yelling at the other black woman who was trying to side with black men. She kept yelling at her, screaming at her because she wouldn't agree with her. And he kept egging her on and going after he was trying to attack with her against that black woman. Wow. It got so bad, and also sneak dissing some of the men on the panel.
Right.
It got so bad the host had to say, look, you gotta go. Because you're trying to start fights between two black women, and we don't allow that here. So he left in a huff then. Wow. This dude is weak. That dude's a weak dude, and it's sad that a lot of these black women are using him. They're using him to spew this a lot of hatred towards black men, right? And I keep and you got some YouTubers some of them that are big supporters of him, and I said on a couple of my podcasts. I said, look, this dude is going to turn on you. I know he's going to turn you because he's going too hard in the paint for black women. And when they do something he don't like, he is going to turn on them. And I see it coming, but that you got a lot of black men haters, black people haters that support his channel. He hates black people. He hates black because he's talked about white men gave him jobs. White men supported him through all this.
Right.
He even offered black women to white men.
Yes, that's another thing I was going to get at.
What?
Yes. Man, this dude is a divestment queen. This dude
is a queen.
This dude is a white. This dude reinforces why black women should never look at a black man ever again and date white men. This dude, and this is a black man saying this. This is a black man telling this brother is working against himself. I'm like, brother, like that's how I know he's just pandering to women, because it's no way hell as me as a black man going and encourage my sisters not to date me or men that look like me and act like me and are just like me.
To be honest with you, D-Darrell, no man and woman, especially in the so-called black race, advocates like say, just go date them. You get me? From either side, on the average, no one's really say that. Anyone that talks that, normally they are divested already. On the average, you get me?
Exactly. So I'm gonna go ahead to what's up, Romy Peso? What's up, brother?
What's up, man? I'm just gonna be real quick. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool, man. You guys, man, all these YouTubers, man. YouTube is the new hustle, especially during the pandemic. A lot of people are losing their jobs, and let me tell you something. The worst thing that could have happened. The worst thing could have happened because black people we're like monkey see, monkey do. The worst thing that could have happened is Kevin Samuels but got lucky and got 1 million subscribers. That's now everybody think that they're gonna be the next Kevin Samuels. So they're gonna go out here and they're gonna do whatever they have to do to sell, to get subscribers, to get super chats, and everybody's a character now. So I don't see why you guys are sitting here getting mad and getting triggered by these guys because it's all an act. This is the new this is the new movie town. YouTube is nothing but a bunch of guys pretending to be a character so that they can make money because they know certain people feel certain ways. It's no different than when a black guy tries to be a Republican and everybody gets mad. This is all what this is now, man. So you guys don't need to be triggered by that. This is all show.
Well, to be honest with you, brother, I'm not sure. I just came up here. What's going on? I know the hustle rate. The hustle been going on. The hustle has been going on.
I'm not specifically triggered by him, but there's a section of this video that I want you all to hear that did trigger me because it miseducated the public and it gave a false narrative about black men participation in slavery. And to me, that did trigger me because that is dangerous, particularly when you got states that don't even want to teach slavery, and you sitting here talking about how black men participated in enslaving black women. And so
D-Darrell,
I'm gonna play that
for you all. D-Darrell, this man said a statement, right? Did he back that up with actual books, articles, and stuff, especially books that talks about this?
Did he?
Yeah. Because if you're gonna state anything out your fucking mouth, you better have 5 or 6 books.
I don't remember exactly what he substantiated that with.
Well, the reason
we're talking about historical stuff, and then
okay.
I want you all to listen to it, and then you may.
No. I listen more. Let me tell you why. And this is why people gotta be very cautious. Niggas run their fucking mouth, both the man and fucking certain black females, about our role in our demise, our captivity, and our subjugation. All day, every day. But when you ask him, I need 5 old books or books that was written back in 1800 and stuff that they are out there that you could present that information. And I don't want nothing from Google because nowadays people getting lazy with Google. Anything could be thrown on Google, but any little thing. You know what I'm saying? But you don't need to put that claim and say, the black man was this. So by doing that, by default, I should go to these other race men because it was them reason why, I volunteer myself to sucking that man's cock. Nah, I don't believe that shit. I don't go by it.
Right. So let me go to Darian Marion. What's up, Darian? Good to hear from you, brother. Darren, are you there? Darren Marion, are you there, brother? Oh, he popped out. Okay, I want to continue to play this, man. I want you all to hear this. Hold on. Let me get to this.
It's going to come back to them tenfold. And I agree. I think
1 second.
The bigger, and I really like what you said about winter is coming. If you don't watch,
okay, here it goes, right here.
Appreciate you, Alexander's passionate tonight. I'm not sure when.
Okay, guys, I want you to hear this conversation. I want you all to pay close attention to the guy in the glasses to your right and what they're in this exchange. Again, guys, fair use.
I'm curious.
Oh, it was months back. I remember when you came on a couple of times. You've been on there like 3-4 times.
Yeah. And you said you didn't think that I was directly opposed to it.
Well, I mean, you seem opposed to the wording that's used, right? But there was some logic that was being shared that you didn't vehemently agree with, like what you put here in the text right here is like, okay, that's definitely vehement disagreements, which I can dig it, but
yeah.
But
well,
I
you
know
see, when I go over to channels like that, I can't just immediately start going off, because if I do that, it's going to be automatically kaput, right? So I have to be pretty graceful with what I'm trying to say, because if not, then I'm going to be kind of switches. I had a chance.
I'm from, there's no gray area. It is what it is, and and yeah, leading up to what's occurring out here, you see a lot of cultural perspectives taking place out here. As far as this, what was it? They passed the Senate laws where they're going to not teach. So okay, I have a dream speech. Now I'm not a proponent of that, but the fact that it is associated with unity and the culture of the history and stuff. The thing is, culture does play a part. There is a cultural perspective. Now, I'm not saying that it's supposed to overrun everyone else's perspective simply because they're not a part of the culture or they're assuming of the human and observing how we operate. But it is a factor.
Okay. All right. So for a certain amount or a certain percentage of the profit that company took in. However, when the people who run and who are directly responsible for investing in said community need an answer to figure out what the hell happened to that failed community, to that failed business, they're going to go to the leader, right?
Correct.
Now, black men want to be leaders, right? You naturally want to be a leader. You naturally want to be submitted to, right?
Well, you're supposed to be a leader. It has nothing to do with anything.
We as men are supposed to be leaders, right?
We're supposed to be the ones who provide the guidance and the direction. So
right, that's what men are. We provide leadership.
Well, leadership. It's a dual thing, though. When you're talking about family,
no, leadership's not a dual. It's not a double entendre here. Leadership is pretty straightforward.
But the black family, leadership is a dual thing. That's not going to happen.
Now, I'm going to ask you all what you all feel about that, about it being a dual thing. I disagree with that, but that's what that brother gave. But I'm going to move forward.
It's not at all. The men who win are followed, all right? That's why women wait at the finish line for winners. That's why men who win in life, who lead appropriately with their lifestyle choices, who have figured out the way, end up winning, particularly with women. Leadership is not a mystifying.
Again, spoken from an objective perspective. It's like you don't want to put the cultural perspective within it, as if black people have been existing in some type of social vacuum, and none of the history has, that's more different characteristics within how we relate to one another, or gender roles.
Now, you said that you were pro Eidos Hotep belief style, or at one point in your life, right?
Yeah. Well, just trying to do something. The whole fight for your people thing.
Right. Okay. Well, we just got done kind of covering the Hoteps, and we had a good time with that. $20 super chat from Brown Bunny. And listen, I appreciate you calling in, Rogish. I do, man. $20 super chat from Brown Bunny says, thank you so much for what you do for black women. Absolutely. Not a problem, Brown Bunny. Thank you for the donation and support. Thank you for still watching and rolling with us.
Like, take that for instance. Just the whole aspect of the Hotep thing, right? That's now a slur. When people were first students within, knowledge of self, Pan-Africanism, and you learned that, it was something that was honorable. Now, of course, you did have those who hustled with it. It's not hard to find something to hustle with if you're.
Now, I'm going to stop and move a little farther, because there's a female. This is a very toxic female that goes around in these black YouTube spaces. She's going to get here and she's going to flip the whole panel. I want you all to take a look at this.
Low-hanging fruit or something like that. But you do have those of us who were, like a lot of people who, joined the military, and they say,
"Oh man, it's a respectful job." Now, you have children right now?
Nah. Too many ectopic pregnancies.
Now I want you all to listen to this carefully. As that lady on the lady on the right, listen to watch how she flips everything.
Are you single?
Well, actually currently dating, and like in the sister, searching for. You know what I'm saying?
Does she have any children?
She does not.
Nice. Well, sounds like you're in an interesting position. I have a few more questions, then I'll let Annalicia go.
Yeah, Annalicia, for those that know, I know some of you probably know her, but she's been on Saints in the Center. She's been on Woman's Sphere and others, but listen to this.
Pretty much in the area that I'm in right now, right? Currently, that the Black manosphere pretty much are perpetual victims who just complain 24/7, which is how I feel and how we feel on this channel. Right. The world has no space for any more victims at this point, particularly the Black community. There's no space for victimhood. It's always something that's trying to attack the Black man. It's always the white man. It's always the courts. It's
always the white man, huh?
The biggest thing that I noticed is when I was on his channel, Black Man Being Brutally Honest, I said, well, guys, okay, here's the problem I have with y'all. If it's such, and I was trying to legitimately help them, I said, if it's such a problem that you have with the courts or with child support, why is it that by and large you choose still not to get educated, get a political science degree, study law, get a Juris Doctorate degree? That's the name of it. I can't remember. And change the laws that so afflict you. Here's the thing, if I was so chastised and persecuted by child support laws of my ex.
Now, this is a man who don't have any children, who's never been married, young, probably in his mid to late 20s at best, talking this shit about what Black men should or should not be doing. Now, what about if as a Black man, you're not inspired to go and become a lawyer? Maybe you want to be a carpenter. Maybe you want to be a teacher. But see, this is the type of ignorant stuff you say since you claim Black men. And notice he speaks in the third person in a sense as if he's not part of the Black male collective. You know, he speaks as if he's in a separate group of himself, by himself, I may say. Like the very things that he say about Black people don't necessarily apply to him. But let me continue.
The laws, the family courts laws, I would make it my sole mission in life to try and change the laws. All right, I would try and do something or figure out a solution, whether it be temporary or permanent, or for the next generation, so they don't have to go through the pains that I feel like I'm going through. Right, and that's my biggest thing. I don't see solutions as much. I just hear a lot of complaining. You speak about the next generation being important, but you also don't acknowledge the fact that Black men only own 2% of businesses, 1% of businesses in the United States of America, that employ people only own that little amount. You don't acknowledge the fact that out of the 3,700 businesses traded on the New York Stock Exchange, 3 of them are owned by Black men.
Okay, but see, that is not an assessment of the failures of Black men. But see, you fail to take into context when Black men tried to build things, when Black men built infrastructure. Why are you not talking about the systematic racism that tore it down? Why are you not going to talk about why we don't have a Black Wall Street? Why we don't have a Tulsa, Oklahoma? Why we don't have a Durham? Why we don't have a Rosewood? All of the Black communities in a lot of different southern states that built that could have been a stem of generational wealth that was destroyed. So what we're seeing now is the remnants of why we only own 2% of the businesses and so forth. It's not because it's just a natural failure of Black men, because there are things that are systematically, legally, and financial policy and so forth that is put in place to nullify our ability to be successful. But this brother won't say this. But let me continue.
So we can't give back to the next generation.
I agree with that they get locked onto.
It's at a certain point. Absolutely. At a certain point, I'm just going to finish, and I'll let you go, and then I'll let Annalisa go. At a certain point, it's like, okay, guys, I get it. And then listen, guess what? I'm not even saying that they haven't gone through things that are understandable about why they're upset. I get that. However, we can't just right. We got come on,
right. But where are your solutions, brother? You talking about what we should, but you have no solutions, nor are you even practicing anything towards a solution.
So what are we going to do now? Right. That's all I'm saying. Let me go ahead and go to Annalise really quickly.
Oh wow! Now check this out, guys. Listen, watch this. Listen to this.
My dear. And thank you for joining, Annalise. Go ahead.
Listen to this, guys.
Oh, and just unmute yourself, Annalise. Assuming that she's here. I can't unmute you. She might have taken a step away. We'll see. Annalisa, if you can hear me right now. Okay, here she is. Go ahead, Annalisa.
Can you hear me?
Now watch how she intensifies the whole panel.
Perfect. Okay. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you tonight? Peace.
I'm good. I had a question, something that he said confused me, and I'm just trying to understand. So you sort of said that we have to work on, it sounds like you're saying work on repairing the dynamic between Black men and Black women. Earlier, you said something to that effect, something to the effect that, well, in the Black community, or in the Black family, women just don't let men lead. And, we kind of have to acknowledge that this is a part of the culture. Is that something that you said? Is that fair to say that that's sort of an analysis you made earlier?
No, I've never in an aspect of women don't let men lead. Never that, because I feel that the Black community operate in a total different dynamic than what everyone sees as traditional or foundational. I think there's actually is supposed to be like dual leadership. Like there is a comedian by the name of Jeff Brown, and he says, my wife's word weighs the heaviest, but my word weighs final. And
right.
in that,
so this sounds like there's one leader ultimately, but that's not even the point. The point that I'm trying to make is, even in the Black community, because you're saying it's not functioning the way that other communities should be functioning, or it's not traditional. Historically, it's not traditional.
I don't think it's able to operate traditional.
Right, but my question is, why aren't Black men rising to the occasion to cultivate a traditional environment, dynamic, and culture? That's my question, because it's not. You have to understand the dynamic. If you truly understand historically what's happened, and you understand the dynamic between Black men and Black women, then that means that you understand that Black men simply failed to lead. They either failed to be there altogether, so you can't lead when you're not there, but they failed.
Well, the separation didn't start until like the 70s.
Hold on, let me finish. No, men were leaving before that, but let me finish. If women,
that's not true, because in the 60s, almost 70 to 80% of black couples, Black adults were married. So that's not true. Not till desegregation that we saw a huge drop.
Are superimposed into the position of a man, i.e., she's having to build for her family, i.e., she's having to protect her family, she's having to provide for her family exclusively. Her being superimposed into that position, who's the catalyst? Whose fault do you think that is?
Whose fault do I think that is? There's many faults involved with this. Okay.
No. I don't need.
It's not just the Black family involved in the dynamic.
Now, see, she asked one question. Now, when he gets to answer the question, when he starts saying an answer that she don't agree with, no. Like, wait a minute. I don't get that. You ask a person to answer a question. It doesn't matter if you don't agree with it or not. You ask the question. You can't, because he didn't answer in the manner that you wanted. Now you have a problem.
Of how the Black family has developed within the United States.
Sir, I don't need the other.
Now she's becoming rude and abrasive.
Need external variables. It's a man and a woman that creates a family. That ultimately, men set the culture. Women, we carry the culture on. I'm asking you, in that dynamic, I don't care about externals. I don't care about external variables. We can talk about that later.
Okay.
I'm asking you, in that dynamic, who's at fault?
They're both at fault. What you mean?
Women.
Who's at fault? They're both at fault.
Right.
Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Let me go through it. Since it's on the man to set the dynamic, then that means that his word must receive receptivity. Now, what has been the track record of the social dynamic of Black women being open to and receptive, harmoniously to the Black man's word?
That's the track record of Black men's.
Our word hasn't.
Now they all just interrupting.
Hold on, brothers.
Our word hasn't had value in our
Hold on
family
one
for a
second.
long time.
Let's not ask. Let's not. Rogus, and unless I'll let you go. Let's not act like Black men didn't lead Black women into slavery for hundreds of years.
Now listen to that. Did y'all hear that? Let me repeat that. Let's not act like Black men didn't lead Black women into slavery hundreds of years. Let's continue.
There's only so much power that Black men.
Black men led Black women into slavery?
Absolutely.
Okay, please, you gotta let me in on that one, bro.
Sure. What are you having a problem? What are you having a problem accepting about that fact?
Just let me know what the beginning of that is, please, because I'm lost.
Go ahead, Elise. I'll let you go.
Okay, this is the problem that I have. First of all, it's interesting that you're up here and you don't even have any historical nuance understanding of the transatlantic slave trade. So you understand the transatlantic slave trade was predicated on Black men's cooperation, right? You understand that slavery it's business.
No, that wasn't Black men's cooperation. That was Africans. We're a totally different culture over here.
No,
I understand y'all want to be African and all that. Cool, y'all gonna do that. But Black started right here in the United States, and we had nothing to do with that.
Right, but you're not listening to what I'm saying to you, sir. And once again, it's negating accountability, negating any semblance of responsibility for the outcome of your ancestors. I'm telling you, the people who sold you into slavery, they didn't come from the Caucasus Mountains. They looked just like you. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, so yeah, but their culture was not our culture. You're trying to lump some skin color in together the same way that the Pilgrims do. Did you know your Black brother sold you into slavery? They weren't Black. Our culture is Black. Their culture is African or Nigerian or whatever.
Let me ask you about a question.
Let me stop right there. Now, what do you think about that, Chaos Rain? Black men sold us. Then she gonna say it wasn't the men that from the Caucasus Mountains. They didn't do anything. It was just Black men that just willfully sold you into slavery, man.
Well, if he's blaming only on Black men while we are still and remain in a situation, my only concern is, okay, the Black man was this big bad boy man, then what is the tangible solution? You divest from Black men, you stop producing with Black men, you stop having so-called Black babies, because remember, if you're a Black woman, depending on your genetics, you're going to produce a Black child because this society goes by the one-drop rule. I'm trying to understand the logic here. You get me?
Right.
So when we have these conversations, and be honest with D Direct, I'm just gonna jump out of here because I have things to do. You might have to start doing these reaction videos and counteractions. This to me, I'm out here. To be fair, honest, Brian, you talked about this on your last live stream about this, 2 live streams, right. And I think it's time to start doing this because people only get the information what they see on this media outlet we call YouTube. They don't read. They're not. And let me tell you something. I was off watching Jordan Maker did a stream today, and he laid out the history of the so-called debate about Booker T. Washington, Du Bois, etc., and why we still have the issue with the coons and sellouts in our communities.
Right.
And he gave a brief history, and he's going to do a panel on this where there's not going to have argument. They're going to go through the information in its entirety and have the honest opinions and dissect it and have this conversation. Because a lot of people, when they watch and these things, these outlets, they only get in messages that they want to hear and things that wants to point the finger of either sex. And to me, that's no good. And that's not going to save Black people in this 21st century. You get me? Matter of fact, I do something better. I know certain channels. I'm not even talking about this one white boy that's giving AIDS to Black women. I don't see no talk about that. Have you noticed that?
Right.
So what we doing here, people? I tell you what we're doing. This is for money. If you're a Black person over the age 18, you watch any media outlet for a reason. And you listen, I think, and they're not giving no actual source like a book, not just Google, but book source, because there's books that have been written about this. That lay out, and I'm not talking about this the destruction of black civilization. I'm talking about older books from not only white scholars but black scholars that interpret some information. Unless I'm hearing that, I don't want to hear shit about the roles of black men and women in this country from any person. You're not well read. You're stupid as fuck. You're ignorant. You're sitting there, this Google scholar, and you know people not gonna fact check. No one's gonna question your shit. That's why you listen to it, and then we have the audacity to say, "I am the intellect here," and I'm sitting there giving the analysis of the mindset of the men in the group and the women in the group. And I'm telling you right now, you're not a professional, and you have no authority talking about the psychology of people. The real people I listen to about the psychology of black people are Amos Wilson, Francis Cress Wilson, and go on.
Naeem Akbar is good too.
Yes, him too. I mean, her. Yep, that too. And I think what's the name? Wells, the guy named Wells. Wade Nobles. You get me?
Okay.
Reason why I say is because these people not only trained in the institution, but they're giving you the real honest opinion and the overall view about our situation. So before I jump out here, I'm sorry, D Darrell, we still doing that thing this weekend on Sunday?
Yes.
Do you need a number?
Huh?
Do you need a number?
No. I got it.
All right. You know the time. If anything, please let me know right away. All right.
Okay, no problem.
All right. So I'm gonna jump down and let y'all guys have it. All right. Take care.
All right. What's up, Renaissance man?
Hey, what's up, D Darrell?
What's going on, brother?
Nah, I was gonna quickly add when Chaos Reign was listing those titles. Another one is Frantz Fanon. He's from the '60s, and he was, I believe, he was French, and then I believe he lived in Algeria. But his book, The Wretched of the Earth, he's a trained psychiatrist as well. But his is more geared towards colonialism in general, not from an American perspective.
Okay.
So, but no, the one thing I did want to add is everybody in this space, truth be told, who's on talking about men and women relationships, unless they're doing it, I'll give you a pass because you obviously come at it from a professional perspective. But if you look at people who are just having these discussions, it's all about money. And I was actually thinking about this the other day. Even when you look at Kevin, you can make the argument that that Kevin is the black man's equivalent of Derek Jackson,
right?
In the sense of Derek Jackson, we all know what he was about, telling the women what they wanted to hear and making money. Kevin is the opposite side of that coin, telling the men what they want to hear and making money off of it as well. And now you're seeing this guy, Truth As I Know It. He's trying to slide in that lane. You've seen other YouTubers as well flip and go to that. So it just shows everybody is in it for money. And then you may have some people who sadly are seeking advice here. And if they listen to it, it's going to end in disaster.
I agree with that.
Because like you said earlier, and I put it in the chat, you were talking about guys, especially when they're younger, being with women out of lust. And I'm like, if you listen to the advice of these guys, all men should care about is a woman's look, her dress size, and submission.
That's it. Nothing else. Just limited to a few things. And then when the outcomes don't go their way, then you want to be red pill rage.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, but see, my thing, this same brother that I'm talking about, he came into space with the same sob story. He was dating this girl. They was living together for a year. He was making, he left. But he was making all his money. Soon as he got laid off, she left. And now he want to have an opinion about everything. What's up, Oracle? Good to see you back, baby. The Oracle, are you there?
Sorry, I was on mute.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me up, D. DeBray. I appreciate you and your time. I think that a lot of this comes down to colorism at the end of the day. Unfortunately, we are people that haven't learned from the doll test. Unfortunately, for a majority of people that do speak on the colorisms, are actively enacting things that we study from Kenneth Bancroft, different things that even Francis Cecil brought up in their studies back in the 60s and 70s and things of that nature. And that a lot of times when we do see that the aspirations and the fulfillment of the American dream as a grown people in our state at this time is predicated upon what color a person is in the most successful arena. Unfortunately, what happens is we are attributing to uh, lending to the idea of pointing a finger at whoever is the cause for their demise or their reason for not being able to succeed or actively pursue happiness per the Constitution. So at the end of the day, the bottom line of it is a lot of people will say, okay, we're going to deflect and say that this is a big money grab, but we can see that it's way deeper than just money. So I wanted to get your understanding on how you saw that we could just look past that it's a hustle. Okay, we get it, it's a hustle, but it's deeper than that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it is a little deeper than that. I'm just looking at it from the context of just for this particular person. I just wanted to just focus on him, not necessarily the we kind of went into this thing about everybody in YouTube. Um, I didn't necessarily want to get in there, but I do think there are some underlying psychological things that within our community that serves a basis for why these things happen. You know, that's undeniable. That's definitely a case. But I look at it like this: in our community, not just on YouTube, but all aspects of black culture, there's evidence of people being fraudulent and doing things for certain reasons that have a underlying psychological reason, and that's self-hatred. This guy self doesn't like. I don't think he like they were talking about his participation in other views and putting white men on pedestals and stuff. He has self-hatred as far as being a black man and being black.
I wanted to ask you about that, D. Darrell.
Yes.
Like from a psychological standpoint, is there like, do they have an actual definition of self-hatred, or like how do you determine, at least in a pure professional sense, that this person is suffering from self-hatred? Is it just a myriad of symptoms you look for, or what?
It's just a mirror of symptoms that you're looking for. There is no clinical diagnosis that is synonymous with hatred itself. It kind of fuels into a lot of different areas, a lot of different syndromes and so forth. So it's what we look at is that a person is presenting a set amount of disruptive behaviors that lowers their ability to function, or it causes some type of situation where they're not able to interact effectively in the society that they're in, and it has some type of negative consequences.
Sadly, I think a lot of our culture has drifted that way in the past 30 years. I mean, because I look at almost like self-hatred as even anything that can be, if you're constantly engaging in behavior that is self-defeating and self-destructive. I mean, that's how I sort of look at someone who's engaging, and they may not even know it because they may even be getting fulfillment out of it in a sense.
Right. But see, in the black community, we have so many situations in which the destructive behavior is positively reinforced and rewarded, as opposed to the positive behavior. You look in movies, you look on commercials, you look in the music. There's so much in which negative behavior is glorified. And the reason why is because we don't control the media.
Yeah.
And my thing is that not only that, is that we're not in a position where we could provide a counter to entertainers turning down that money. See, if we provided an alternative that instead of you going like Lil Nas X doing videos swinging his dick in the air and shit with people acting like this what prison look like, but then somebody else give you a counter and say, no, you come working for my record company. I want you to present yourself in this manner, and I'm gonna pay you this. See, we don't have that, and that's why entertainers and other people who participate in the coonery of black folks, that's why they continue to do what they're doing, because we don't have a system set up where we can give them a counter offer to do something different.
Exactly, because I'll never forget, even if you look at music now and how much things like, you know, drug use is celebrated. I'm like, if you go back to like say the 80s and 70s, like no one people, if you're someone who's constantly doing drugs, they're gonna call you a junkie and it's gonna be looked down upon. And now that's celebrated. It's like when you think about it, it's crazy how that's pushed.
Yes, it is. Talk about it, you know, you're doing Percocet, codeine, and Adderall and all this other shit they talking about. I'm like, come on, man. These are all drugs that can be highly addictive. They can have a negative effect on your body. You know, this stuff has long-term effects, psychologically, mentally. You don't talk about the fact that you driving with those type of drugs, you're under the influence. I mean, they're glorifying things. We're not giving the full context of what happens when you consume these drugs, and they glamorize it as if everything is going to be great, and it's not. And so, hold on 1 second, guys. Go ahead. You all can go ahead. I'm gonna be right back.
Yeah, I wanted to speak on that while the rest stepped away for a second. These things come with a reinforcement. Unfortunately, a lot of times the reward outweigh the how you say the self-efficacy of a person in some certain situations whenever they're leaning on not just the benefit of money, but also the fame or the recognition that comes with it. So, quite naturally, a person will go ahead and perpetuate that activity based on several rewards that have been given. And then it's idealized because the vast majority of people get to see this on media, right? So if that's the case, then if it's idealized, then that would be something that someone may internally take into account that may be something they want to aspire to. So in the case of Kevin Samuels, this is just a form of the hip hop gone wrong situation, or the Cynthia G's of the world. The hip hop gone wrong situation. This is just another genre of a entertainment for financial gain for the most part, but other extrinsic um, benefits come with that. Recognition, fame, a little bit of power, a say in how people behave and act, and all of that. That's something to be said. And the more their numbers grow, the more you see this, right? So now it's just this big goo of how you say of the lack of the ability to show the community in some certain level being able to solve its own issues. So I just wanted to speak to that.
Now you said you believe that there was underlying issues outside of just money, because I know D Darrell has elaborated on like someone like Kevin and said basically he kind of thinks he's getting therapy out of what he's doing just because of the way he talks to some of these women, and that he still thinks that, you know, for whatever reason he's still I guess upset about his divorce. But I guess my point on the money thing is sort of I know D Darrell saying, hey, we don't have an alternative, but I also have to wonder at what point do people have an ethical obligation to say, yeah, I can go and make money to do this, but it's destroying my community.
Yeah,
Because
that's the problem.
in a sense, you could argue, I know we were talking about slavery earlier. In a sense, you can argue that's the same ethical dilemma in a sense, because I mean, that's the same thing. I can go and sell people for money and sell my people out and make some money. So the buck's got to stop somewhere.
It does. You have to have some level of integrity within yourself, some standard of, you can't be willing to just sell yourself or whatever. particularly if it has a negative effect on your own people. I mean, but the thing about it is, you have people on YouTube, and to me, this is the biggest danger. The biggest reason why there's a lot of miseducation. You know, that's the thing I don't like. People are just willing
Absolutely.
to say things, just willing to say any and everything just to argue.
Yeah, I agree with that. The behavior is outweighing the consequences, in that a lot of times when you're rewarded, it's a trained act at that point, and it's absent of the thought processes that will lead you to understanding that this is coming with a consequence, usually until it's too late.
Right. So let me. I want to play a little bit more of this, and then I'm gonna wrap up and get your thoughts.
The culture, but that's the thing. Y'all don't like to take that into consideration.
Let me ask you a
and it's
question.
almost like having a back and forth with the dudes in the black manosphere who I disagree with. It's like y'all want to fight. They want to fight y'all. Y'all want to fight them.
Ruggish.
Go ahead, though. This is amazing.
Wait, give me. Yeah, most of them don't. Ruggish, give me your idea of what the black culture in America is. What do you think of when you think of the black culture?
I think if it's starting from chattel slavery.
No. See, I'm not going to let you acknowledge slavery when you don't want us to acknowledge slavery. That's going to be a conflict of interest or a contradiction. If you're not going to want us to point out the obvious facts.
No. You can acknowledge slavery all you want, but to put it on.
Ruggish, I have to mute you for a second. Listen. If you don't want to acknowledge slavery,
he muted the guy.
Has anything to do with the current state of today's culture, Ruggish, then I'm not going to let you acknowledge slavery right now. You don't get to use slavery in one instance only because you feel that it applies to your ideological belief and the fact that you're not a part of the group of men historically or identity-wise African in the meaning that in the reason that you're here, and then also in the same sentence say, well, because of slavery. Well, if you're not going to accept slavery as being a part of your current cultural identity, then you can't apply slavery to your current cultural identity. I know that might not make a lot of sense. Nobody can hear you right now.
It actually doesn't.
Nobody can hear you right now. So we'll let you talk a bit. This is what we speak on when we talk about cognitive dissonance. If you're not going to accept the fact that you were sold into slavery by black people, then I'm not going to let you say that slavery has an impact on your current day culture. Because if you don't accept slavery then, you're not going to accept slavery now. You don't get to just use the slave card, the race card, when it applies to your own personal beliefs. Slavery is slavery. Having said that, I'm not saying that slavery didn't have a negative impact on black people. I understand that it had a negative impact on black people. However, we have to acknowledge every fact about slavery. We wouldn't have been here, and I know obviously we're just watching them talk right now, but we wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for our people. That's just a fact, right? Diana, I see you in the back right now, and Black Man's Fault, I see you in the back right now as well. We'll add y'all in a couple of seconds. Diana Prince and then Black Man's Fault. We're gonna try and go through a few sentences here. Rogesh, we didn't hear anything you said just now, so I want to unmute you and we'll get back to it. Okay? Maybe.
Actually, on that note, I'll gracefully bow out because
now,
if y'all gonna be up black.
That I respect there. See, I respect that about Rogesh because I would have done the same thing. I said, okay, well, you know what? I'm out. I understand that. Now that I can respect and I can agree with Rogesh. So thank you for joining, Rogesh. It looks like we have
Thanks
another
for having me up. Peace.
Not a problem, brother. We have another one.
Now let me stop. Now the dude muted him while the man was talking and then just kicked him off, man. So what do y'all think about that? Oh, her name
I think that this guy is placating on the ideas of the issues are stemming from Africa for some reason. The host of the show, it sounds like he's trying to find a remedy toward why certain aspects of our community are falling apart as it relates to relationship matters. Unfortunately for him, he's sounding like he's not very well educated on slavery itself. We could just start with that. So I don't know how you see it, but that's pretty much what I picked up.
Okay, Renaissance.
Well, I was gonna say, with regard to what he was talking about, as far as, because I know people in general talk about or try to basically go back and figure out what's going on in Black America, and people go to slavery and things. And don't get me wrong, I think that plays definitely a part in it. The other thing is, I'll hear the narrative, and they kind of went into it a little bit where they were talking about, the 70s and the breakup of the family. But the thing is, when I hear these arguments, I never hear anybody talk about things like deindustrialization that went on in the 70s.
Exactly.
That basically prior to that point,
Right.
Black men could basically, even if they didn't graduate high school, they could go get a job in a factory and support a family. And in the 70s, those jobs started drying up. They started going overseas, or even technology started replacing them. And you didn't have that avenue anymore. And I think a lot of men really didn't adjust. Not to mention things like the Vietnam War, and then you right in the 80s, you move into the crack era and the devastation it had. So like when I hear people just try to take these narratives and boil it down to men and women, or welfare or something like that, I'm like, y'all aren't even looking at like major crises that would disrupt any group of people. I mean, look at what things like opioids and meth have done to these to people who are white in these rural areas, and
India, China.
Yeah, and they have the government actually stepping in, trying to do put in good policy, not just putting everybody in jail, and it's still messing up their community. So it's going to have a devastating effect on ours.
Right, I agree, but see, the thing about it is, this speaks to how disingenuous these guys are, because like, how are you going to make these type of charges towards why Black men allow certain things to happen if you're not going to look at the total context, you're not looking at the big picture of what was the causation of these things happening. This stuff does not just happen esoterically. There were certain things that were in place to cause that to happen. And that's the issue I have with the manosphere and with guys like this, is that they only look at the outcomes. They don't look at what caused the outcomes. And I think that that's a big mistake if you're going online wanting to be a content creator and educate that you claim you're doing, but you're not willing to look at things appropriately.
And then you're passing your viewpoints off to impressionable minds who are thinking, oh, this is what happened, or some of the more crazier things where you'll have brothers in this space who will sometimes even promote, like you were doing the video of the day on domestic violence. You have some of these guys who will literally promote this stuff, and if you have guys who don't have sense, they'll go out there and do this stuff.
Yes, and get arrested. What's up, brother? Speak.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was taking a shower, I was trying to get ready to leave, but yeah, he don't want to. That's basically it. He don't want to. He's one of these. He reminds me of me when I was younger, before I had got exposed to the manosphere, some of the pro-blacks, Umar, where when you just look at the community as it is, and then you just want to blame the Kookies and the Ray Rays and the derelicts for why the community is what it is, because you had either past experiences, or you just looking at the TV, and that's all you base it on, instead of looking at history and learning about history. You're not looking at what things happened historically to Black people, and particularly Black men, to make them get to where they are right now. You're looking at the now instead of the why, and to be honest, I don't think he wants to.
No,
he doesn't. He doesn't want to. He's placating to these women, and he's a coon. I mean, there's no other way to describe. This is the perfect definition of a coon that I can ever see. He is no different than the man. Like you said, he's no different than the manosphere that he talk about. They do the same thing. It's like the supposed to be the intelligent Black man, the manosphere, due to the game dudes. They blame them for the problems that they have, and they blame the women. Where he's doing the opposite. He's blaming all Black men for the problems of the community but he's not looking at what happened to the black men. And any other race of men went through the same thing that we did without any assistance. When you have a government that was just taking steps to make sure the black men stay at the bottom, yeah, you would have the same problems in that community. You're not getting, and you have women who've been burned by black men so much that they don't care why. They want to hear black men is that black man at fault. I'm not at fault. It's their fault. They should fix it. I should get out of this community or whatever. I mean, which is fine. I mean, look, if you want to get out, get out. But the thing of it is, they don't want to get out. They see this as a cash cow.
Exactly.
And like I told one lady on another panel, the reason why they don't want to look in that mirror and say, why am I failing with black men? Why am I keep getting around these same dusties that they call them? Well, you attract dusties. You go on their channels. You had one in here earlier who wanted to troll. Wait, and I'm like, you get joy out of trolling a group of men you hate. You get joy out of day after day dissing the group of men. Don't you got something better than you in your life? That means you don't. You don't want to go over to those white spaces. If you want to go, just go over there and talk to them. But you're gonna find out real quick they don't like you like that.
They sure don't.
I mean, they had I remember on Verbal Channel, I think it was last week, maybe a few days ago. They talked about these Latinos, and you had those divestors wanting to go with the Latinos.
Yeah, they came over there too, right?
Yeah,
they came over there, huh?
Yeah, they went over there. I guess something happened. They said something to those Latino women. Boy, they went on a tirade against black men and black women.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was there. What happened? Because I already pointed out to that individual about the divestors, because I didn't really like how one of them was talking to Ken, to that individual. I guess we'll say names here. Ken. Okay. And so yeah, they pretty much went on a tirade. They're fed up. They see what is going on online between black men and black women, and they're like, we don't want anything to do with that. Y'all need to fix yourselves and fix the community. Shoot, because it's just too much. But
Right.
I don't mean to intrude on the conversation, but I do think that knowing this individual in question today, and knowing his content from the beginning, I do still suspect that there is a tad bit of pandering, for the money. Because, like I said, there are people on this platform that will say and do anything that will get them views to get the money, the YouTube checks coming in, and I've noticed that.
Yeah, I agree with it. It's the pandering, but
right,
there's
and I used to like it.
There's a certain amount of support that's behind it as well, a certain type of agenda, in my personal point of view.
Right, and I stopped going over there because of that, because of the atmosphere of the chat and the live streams. It was just kind of too anti-black male. You know what I mean? I have a Latino background, but people are not going to see that when they really look at me first. They're going to see black. But it's just too anti-black male for me.
And he's a black male. He's a black man.
And the other thing is, I'm sure D. Darrell, by running a channel, in general, they've always said on YouTube that the women give more than the men.
They sure do.
So there's that incentive as well going on. If it's about money, you're going to naturally have a channel that leans more towards women.
Yeah, and also, they always bring up that $10 billion that black business women got. And, I went over the information man. And I asked him that question about it. I was asking him, okay, do you think white men did it just to spite their own women? He said, why would you even think that? You don't even know why they gave him the money. You don't even know. And he was saying, when I was saying those women kind of, that's what they were alluding to.
Right.
That the white men were bending the knee to black women. And he said it again. He said, you don't even know why they gave him the money. It could have been a lawsuit that was brought up. And to prevent that lawsuit,
they had to give money to black women.
They gave that 10 billion, which they haven't. I don't have they given the money yet.
No. It's not even 10 billion at once. It's like a billion over 10 years.
Yeah, but let me also say something. I ain't want to cut you off, Renaissance man. You see, I know there's a lot of when you look at the devil in the details, it's not just money. That 10 billion also talks about jobs. So if people think that they're just literally giving black women $10 million and they're funding organizations and so forth, the very company, and it's funny that you said this, Brother Speak, because wasn't that Goldman Sachs that's doing this?
Yeah.
Goldman Sachs has went on a national search all over the country, focusing on hiring black women.
But
that's part of the package.
But D-Darrell, here's the thing: Goldman Sachs is a bank; it's an investment bank.
Right.
Those people are all in the business of making money. So from their perspective, I'm sure it's they're coming at it from an underrepresentation standpoint. Number one, that hey, this is an untapped market that's being underutilized, and then also I'm sure what they're seeing is that black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in this country.
Right.
And that's why they're trying to get in as well, too. Like, there's a strategy. They didn't just do this. Yeah. Like you said, it was either a lawsuit. I know there are a few black women. They got some black female partners up there who are pretty high up. So you may have had some lobbying effort there, coupled with the whole racial reconciliation type of environment with a lot of people in corporate America in general, as far as what they're going to do to try to close gaps. So this wasn't just done out of, this was to spite someone. This was very much done from a perspective of, hey,
how I'm gonna make money off this situation. That's really
they're going to make money off of this.
They're making, and see, another thing, this is something that they're not accounting for when they look at black women as a consistent and very loyal consumer. A lot of that money and I hate that I know some people may disagree, or women may. A lot of that money that black women spend that is discretionary income, that money came from black men.
Yeah.
But D-Darrell, that applies to all women. That's what a lot of people don't realize, is that women make a lot of financial decisions in all households. That's why so much of the marketing is towards, because you got to think, if you got a husband that's working and you're a traditional relationship, you're gonna have the woman who's at least doing things like grocery shopping, buying things to maintain the home, buying things for the children. So if you're a man, the only thing you may make the money and you may pay the bills and look at the investments, but the discretionary income for the most part is in her hands.
Yeah, the discretionary income. And to be honest with you, let's look at it like this. Women, research shows, and I took an IO class, this was years ago, when they talked about marketing and industrial organizational psychology. They talk about the fact that women have a tendency to impulsively spend more than women. Women have a tendency to try out new products more than men. And just on the natural needs of women have more natural needs for as grooming, hygiene, and other different things, upkeep, more than men do. So just on the natural state of being, just function as a woman, you have more, women have more needs to buy different things than we do.
Especially when you talk about the upkeep, because I mean, part of the thing is, like you said, beauty and products like that. Women spend a lot more on maintaining appearance and things like that than men do. Clothes,
everything.
All of that.
But you know who's paying for that?
Men.
Who's really paying for that? Is men. I know I'm paying for it. Shit. I mean, like there's certain things that I know that my wife wants that she ain't gonna pay for. She gonna ask me to pay for it, or she'll just know that certain things that she can just go and buy, and that's with any household. And so my thing is that I think what Goldman Sachs is doing, I think that black men are looking at this totally wrong. The fact of the matter is that if you are in an effective relationship, if your wife is benefiting from that money, you're both benefiting. So the way, so you shouldn't be looking at it as if black women are exclusively getting something you can't benefit from.
But that we had this discussion on BMT, and that's what I was telling people. I was like, you're not going to hear any other group of men get upset about $10 billion flowing in their community.
No,
you're just not.
And see, but see, if you look at it from a separatist standpoint, as if you're this quote unquote pseudo separate demographic, then no, you couldn't benefit from it. But if you're married,
that's what it's come to, though. That the black and the white. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but that's what it's come to. The real black men have separated themselves mentally, physically, psychologically, financially, and some. No. Listen to what I'm saying.
I can't. Not as a whole. Maybe on
no. Listen to what I'm saying to you. It's that there are certain sectors of the manosphere, certain of different mindsets. In that, I'm only speaking to the ones that have done this. This does not apply to every single black couple on the planet. I'm only speaking to those that have this certain set mind of the black woman thus and so. Now, those mindsets have already separated themselves and compartmentalized the whole situation astringently, astringently, also in the dynamics. So just off of the basis of their mindset, it's already a separation there for that part of our community. So the problem then becomes, how do we mend the fences? How do black men and black women that have these type mindsets on either side, how do we come together and forge and build? Unfortunately, we don't want to do that. It's more profitable for us to be a controversy as opposed to a community. So yes.
My encouragement. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just going to quickly add, Darrell, when you talk about that, I think that goes back to what we're talking about of a broken community. Because when you hear the men speak and the women, when you have people who have the mindset that is not directed towards families, this is how you sort of get these one-sided gender wars. Because I'm sure as someone who's married, when you start thinking about things and you have kids and specifically daughters or sons, you have to sort of take into account that perspective of, okay, how is something like that going to affect them? You can't just be pro male or pro female and be anti the other one, because it's like that's anti essentially a part of your family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I would say to those people who have that separate mindset, you're just gonna have to leave them alone.
Yeah.
Like the group. That's the only thing you're gonna be able to. It's too far gone, and it's too profitable.
I disagree, but okay.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. You're trying to mend the fences, but you can't.
Part in the C. That's this part in the C. It's further making further contention, further division. It doesn't solve anything to cancel each other out. Where we're going with this? I mean, what's the end game here?
But
you can't.
So you're saying the opposite is bring them into the group that's going to cause even more division?
The only way to solve any issue is to come to a consensus, to at least start somewhere. So unfortunately, no. I understand that there are strong mindsets. What I'm saying to you is that it would not be conducive of the community, and that it can be so toxic to it can affect our birth rate and our replacement rates as a race. So until we start re-educating ourselves, re-educating each other on what do we do about this situation. We know the problem. Oh yeah, y'all expressed the problem thoroughly. We don't need another dose of gumbo soup of what's wrong with us. We just need to start now relegating and start getting over our psychopathic attributes and start listening to one another and work out some remedy. Until we do that, we're going to just create further division. And to solve what's the end game? Of course, okay, you're going to go to another race. Now what? So what? And now what? You know? So
And
until we start seeing that there is no resolve to it, and the solution is to just be a money grab and to be a how you say a great big horrific monkey show, or a coon to the 10th power, until we start seeing what damage we're doing by prolonging this situation in those mindsets. It's going to just exacerbate, and that's pretty much where it's at.
how here's the thing. I understand the why you're saying that. These people don't want to. They don't.
See, that's just
It's
it.
it's
I get
they
that
don't
part.
want to.
I
So
understand
why would you put a person who will sooner stab you in the back in your house?
they do that anyway.
Why would I do that? Why would I put this person, if I slip up even a bit, they're gonna stab me in the back? Why would I
They're
put
doing
them in
it
my house?
anyway.
Why would
What the black women and the black men are doing with these mindsets, sir, the black men and the black women are doing that anyway.
okay, but then why would I put them in my house? That's what I'm trying to get you to understand.
You have
Why
to
would I put
understand that
these
it's not
people?
a simple fix. It's not some uh,
You
how you
get
say
the
quick fix idea. It took time to get here. Don't you agree?
yes,
Black
and
people weren't
but
always like this.
because and the
Like
reason
that thing
why,
being
because
said.
we were so
But
trusting
let me say
of
this.
our
Now that
people.
you understand where I'm coming from, let me say this. Is
Okay,
that it's going to take time to get there. You're talking about some type of I need it now quick fix. No, 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 not at all. This is going to take work, effort, due diligence, of understanding of self first, the purpose of self in our society, our place in society as an individual in ourselves, whether we're man or woman, and then we can start working toward an understanding of why it's so important to prolong the race. And what we're talking about is race annihilation amongst ourselves in these certain mindsets. That the only thing you're going to get out of that is that there are no more black children being made. Okay, so at the end of the day, until we start coming to consensus on that concept or idea, we won't see the value in each other. As long as we're looking at it in that light, and the money is the end game of it all, of course, there, okay, so the black race ends here. Okay, so if that's what you want, then that's what you want, but at least try. We haven't even gotten to a level of wanting to try to come together and
well,
work things out. But it is going to take time. This is not going to be a quick fix. You can't just go, okay, right now, just coming up with all these different ideas. It goes back to what I'm saying. We have to find purpose in one another, and that takes time.
okay. I I hear that. If you want to do that, you have to go to the youth to do that, to teach them that. You do that to the youth. You can't do it with these grown ass people like the honest truth and the black man's fit. You cannot do that with them. You're not going to be able to get them to get on the same page. The only way you're going to make them is you cut their money, or you going to physically attack them. Are you willing to do? Do we have? Are we in a position
I
to cut
respect
their
your
money
opinion, but
or
that's
attack
just
them?
it.
Physically attack
Everybody
them.
has an opinion. I'm going to respect that that's your opinion. Not everybody may see things like that. It could be a simple cry for help, or it could be a
I,
deflection of
I don't.
I have a lack of self-efficacy. I don't see the point in the race at all, or whatever the case may be. We don't know because we haven't even investigated to find out why these people are this way. We haven't even
Ma'am,
truly investigated on understanding where their mindset lies. What's the core reason for them having this type of mindset? We haven't even tried to give an antidote to what, or some remedy to what is within them, because it starts with self. It starts with the individual. Then once the individual has been uh, helped out in some stringent way, then they could start seeing past themselves. It's just a hierarchy here.
I
Right.
have to agree with Brother Speaks on one thing on that, only because I believe it was Frederick Douglass who said it's easier to raise strong boys than fix broken men. And
Yeah, I
I
agree
just
with
think
that.
when you
See,
start
that's the
talking,
problem. Everybody wants to be easy.
I don't.
Okay, so we need to eliminate that concept. Just eliminate it. It's going to be difficult,
Now,
hard as hell, and it may be to a point to where some people cannot and will not and refuse to change, and that's
well,
their right. But
now,
have we tried before we
Well,
even threw
I
in a
think
we
towel?
have been trying.
Is
How
it
many
worth
times
the
we got to
try?
try this to get
Is
this?
black
How
people
many
worth the
times have
try?
we allowed people who have disrespected the black people,
Are
poisoned the
they
black
worth
people,
the
and we
try?
bring them back in this group and with no consequences?
Are
How
they
many
worth the
times we've
try?
had black women who have had white babies,
Aren't you tired of
disrespected white
fighting?
black men, and bring them back in the group like it's no problem? How many
Are you
times do we
worth
have to
a
do that?
try?
Since that, why do we
No,
have to
no.
keep
You won't
trying?
answer
No
my
other
question,
group
though.
of men
You
and
won't answer
women
my
would
question.
allow that
You're
stuff. But
deflecting,
we are
sir.
the
You're
only
just
ones who feel
deflecting.
that it's okay
Oh my
to
God.
bring people
How
that
did you
hate
go
us
there? This is
into our
nothing to
group.
do with what you're talking about. I'm asking you a question. If you could
Okay,
just
what's the
listen to
question,
me
ma'am?
for a second. Are
Okay,
black people worth a try?
not those people.
They're
Not when
what
they are
though?
basically saying
They're
we
the
hate
ones
black
that's to
people.
be
We don't want to deal
taken in.
with them.
They're the
Why?
biggest
Why?
reason for it.
No, they are not worth it.
Are you kidding me right now? They're
Yes,
the
I'm
biggest
being
reason
serious.
for the
You
division.
have black. Let me ask you a question. Is
Yes.
Larry Elder worth getting back into the black community?
If
Is
we
Jesse Lee
can,
Peterson
if
worth
we
getting
can
back
have
to the
a
black people,
No,
civilized
into the
he's
black
too far
community?
conversation
gone.
to even start to
If
understand why they take their stance
I
the way
don't
they
care,
do it.
ma'am. I don't care
That's
why
the
Well,
problem.
these
People
people
don't care.
they
Thank you.
they
Thank
don't
you.
like
Okay, you
you.
have to
Miss
start
They
Miss
don't
caring.
Oracle,
like
can I?
you. They don't
So
respect
you
you.
have
They
to
will do
start
everything
caring.
they can to destroy you. Why would you want these people around you? I
Because
Can I?
don't
black people
understand that part.
matter.
Can I
What
ask
do
Because
you
you?
mean it
the black
doesn't
race
matter? So
matters.
you
I
want
want
to
to see
ruin
more
Communication,
the
black
everybody.
group
people
of people.
together than
You
I
want
do
to ruin
apart.
the group of
I
people.
happen to want to see more black people together than I
The
do
the,
apart,
the
regardless of
Oracle,
the
can I?
I do too,
that
but I
I
don't
want to
want
see the
people that
continuation
hate
of the
me
black
around
race,
me,
just like
ma'am.
everybody
I
else
don't want people
race.
that have shown
Yes,
consistently,
yes, but what I'm
that
telling
they
you is
don't
that
like us.
there's
They don't want to be
ways
around
today,
us.
it could
They
be a
want you.
different
They
way
want to sell you
tomorrow.
off to the white men, the Asian men, the Latin men, all other group of men
But that's
except
part
their
of the
own. Why
problem.
would I
Just
want them
agreeing
around
with
my
that
group?
mindset.
Wait, brother Speaks. Can I ask her one question? The
Oh my
Yes.
Oracle.
goodness.
Do you think? Can you at least agree that the youth should be prioritized over adults?
Yes, yes, they have to.
Do you agree with that?
Brother Speak, you there?
No, I'm asking the
Yeah.
Oracle.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. He asking her.
oh okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so I'm agreeing with the panel, of course, but what I'm trying to tell you is that this is the problem. Okay, we're in a jungle. We both have to survive. If I don't help you survive, I don't help myself survive. That's one idea we can help each other understand. That at the end of the day, once they get rid of me, they're going to get rid of you. You know, we're not here, and I'm not talking about in a physical sense. I'm just talking about in a literal, mental type. That's another story. You got me on a tangent here. Sorry about that. Okay, so back to what I'm saying is that we don't realize the value we should have in each other. That's our problem. So
Okay.
once we start seeing past ourselves and our own egos and our own intrinsic benefits that we're getting from having this mindset in the first place, then we can start to see the purpose that we have as an individual, as a collective, and a group of people that have come from a long, long way. We've survived slavery, and this is the thanks we give our ancestors. So we need to stop with this idea that we don't need each other. I don't want you because you're a nappy-headed black booty big fat bitch, you know, or you're a no good thug, you're a Pookie and a Ray Ray. You could go both ways with that argument all day long, but is it going to solve anything? Hell no. It's going to continue to perpetuate the division that Black people are starting to experience and see, and it's spreading like poison. Before you know it, we're not going to have to worry about some white man who can't make babies anymore because of his whatever situation's going on with him and his replacement rates. We're going to need to start worrying about how come we're going from 14% to 13 to 12 to 11, so on and so forth. And before you know it, we're not even in existence any damn more because we have these different type of mindsets that feel like we don't have a value in one another. That's one. Two, why not? What's wrong with Black people being together? What's wrong with Black people having a voice and being a force to be reckoned with on an economic level on the world stage? We're not even getting to a place where we can start thinking in a STEM of science, technology, engineering and mathematics of it all. We're so stuck on stupid to where we're not even interested in the damage that we're doing by perpetuating a certain mindset in the manosphere.
But the Oracle, I think what we're trying to get at is if you even want to get on that right path, there's going to have to be certain basic standards.
Who said I wasn't? I'm talking about that. That's exactly what I'm saying. We do have to get on some certain accord with one another. And that's all I'm saying, brother.
But I think what we're saying here is that part of that accord is you can't have people who openly want to sabotage in your company.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get at.
It goes back to what I'm saying. It's not going to be an overnight thing. We're not talking about something that's a quick fix. I can't stress that enough. This is going to take work. It's not going to be easy.
We can't save everybody. We can't save everybody.
And I'm not trying to. I'm just saying we need to try, though.
No, I don't need to try to save a person who's open.
I'm not talking about Kevin Samuels. I'm talking about his million followers. I'm talking
about the honest truth. I don't give a fuck about Kevin Samuels.
I'm
talking about the honest truth and those people over there that has openly said they don't want to be Black. That's who I'm talking about. I don't care about Kevin Samuels.
The ones that are so far gone, there's no hope.
Okay, then that's who I'm talking about, ma'am. You want me to bring them in the group?
About that, no. And you're saying that I want you to? No, you got that backwards. I said that I want to go for those that are the legion, that are in their following. Yeah. I'm not talking about the ones that are so far gone, their mind is set in stone. I'm talking about those that are following. We're talking about over 1 million people on Kevin Samuels' side. We're talking about over however many people sit the G's side. We're talking about the legion here.
Okay, but ma'am,
those two people don't represent the Black community. That's first of all. Second of all, they can't make a difference in their own selves unless they change their rhetoric. And if they don't, they don't. But there should be some effort toward showing people that there's a possible way for Black women and men to make it in this lifetime.
Okay, well, you do that.
Way too pessimistic. It's ridiculous.
Ma'am, we're not pessimistic enough. We're way too hopeful. We're on the other end. That's the biggest problem. You want to get not you specifically, but I know a lot of Black people.
Make it make sense, sir. Whatever you're about to say, make sure you make sense.
Okay, let me make it clear. I was on a panel. Cynthia G had this whole graph, like they had a graph or whatever. Says 70% of Black women on her panel they don't want to be under Black male leadership. They would rather be under white male leadership. I got into an argument with a Black man. He said he wanted to bring them people into the group. I told him no, because those people, even if you bring them into the group, they hate Black men. They don't want to see Black male leadership. They will sabotage it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why would I?
That's
Why
the
would you
sole
bring
reason
those
why we
people?
should try to work
Why
toward
should I try
making
to
sure
help
that
people
they
who have made their
understand
decision?
that black men can lead.
They
Black men
don't
can
care, ma'am.
lead,
What part
and
of that do
we
you
need to
not
show them that.
understand? They
It's in
don't
the
care.
showing. It's in
They
the
don't.
showing for the few that
They
don't think
don't
like that.
care.
It's
They don't
exampling. It's
care.
by example. It's
Those
showing
people
by
don't
example.
care.
Okay,
You
guys.
know,
Okay. We're gonna have to slow it down. I'm at the 2 hour mark, and so I'm gonna go ahead and give some last words and close it out. I'll be going live tonight around 9, between 8 and 9 o'clock tonight. So I got a few things I got to do between that time. So anybody has any last words?
Yeah.
You all can go ahead and give your last words.
Yeah, no, I want to quickly say thanks for letting me come up, D. Darrell. Are you still gonna have that stream, that part 2 of the domestic violence stream?
I'm doing that probably tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'll be here for that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna do domestic violence tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks for
All
letting
right,
me come up.
Okay. All right.
thanks, Steve Darrell. This was great. I really enjoyed the debate. It was the conversation and the brainstorming is really motivating in helping me to understand that there's possible ways that we can work through our issues. We just have to try. And I thank you so much for hosting a platform that does so. We need more platforms like yours. And I thank you for being a great leader in our community. And thanks so much for having me up. I'm going to try my best after studies to catch on to your live tonight. Have a good one, okay?
All right, take care. Thank you for coming in. All right, brother Speak. You was rolling, man.
Yeah, I understand what she's saying. I'm not opposed to that. But the thing of it is, we got to get to the youth, because like I told people on the panels, okay, you stop the Black Manosphere, there's another group right behind them. You stop the Cynthia G's, the Honest Truths, the Is It Just Me podcast, those type of people on YouTube, you get them out of here. There's a group right behind you. The problem is not the YouTubers, really. The problem is the environment that creates these people.
Right.
You know, and going to trying to understand them. We don't need to understand them. We already know where their allegiance lie. They don't like Black people. So why would I want to try to teach those people, try to explain to them why? They don't care. And since they don't care, let them go. Let them be over there. Let them, when they get their Black wake-up call, when they try to come back, no, you don't come back. Stay over there. Stay with them folks, so they can roast you and disrespect you like they've been doing. They don't respect you. When you praise other races of people above your own, they don't respect you. They don't like you. And you can blame. You have Black men blaming Black women blaming Black men for this. The part of it is all the collective of Black people do it on a consistent basis, and not just for relationships, but also about immigration, about the police, all this different thing that is a detriment to Black people, and we do not do anything about it. The environment is what you need to fix, and you're not going to fix it trying to get these people back in line. You need to get rid of them folks. Let them be, and whatever happens to them, happens to them. You need to be getting to the youth, focusing on them, showing them Black love, showing them Black men leading, showing Black women and Black men coming together. That's what we need to be doing. Going on to show these group of people that don't care, they're going to ruin it, and they're going to shit on it at every opportunity. That's just what they're going to do, because it's because they hate themselves. It's profit into it, and there's profit and praise, and there is no incentive to make them change. Black people do not have the economic power and the physical, and you're not going to go attack them physically unless y'all willing to go to jail. Are we going to do that? No. The best thing we can do is get to the environment. Black men getting with other Black men, building businesses, getting to these young boys, showing that their lives matter above vagina and money and drugs and all this kind of stuff. Their lives matter more than that. And getting to these black women that your lives matter more than just getting with a black man or getting with any type of man. Self. If we want to do that, we got to get to the youth and get them to fix themselves. Till then, we're going to have this whole thing, and it's going to impede on whatever progress that Oracle was trying to say. I have no problem with what she's saying, but I think the main focus should be on the children. That's the only thing I can say. And thank you
Hey,
for having me on the panel.
well said, man. I don't remember the last time I seen you this passionate, man. You showed a lot of passion today.
Well, is I get irritated with the whole we got to come together. Yes, coming together is great, but you got to be vigilant on who you bring into your group. You can't just bring black people together without a set of standards, without a code or anything. You bring a bunch of people together, you have all these different ideas, and the ones that want to divest and don't want to be around black people, you bringing them in too. I warned another person about that. I say, hey, you saying all this stuff about black men, but you need to be careful who you letting in, because they may agree with some of your talking points, but then they go into the extreme where they hate black men and ultimately they hate black people. So that's where I'm with it. Just
Yeah, true. That's true, man. And to me, like it's obvious, man. That to me the genesis of them being this way is the fact that they don't feel like they have a place in the community.
No, they don't.
They don't, and that's why they feel that way, because they feel like the black community turned their back on them, didn't accept them, and probably to many of them for good reasons.
Right.
When a community don't accept you, that means you've done things to multiple people. For you to have a group of people just don't want to deal with you, that means there's some things about you that are suspect. I can see if you get most, you got to have some supporters. If it ain't but 10, 15%, okay, well, you can rock with that 10, 15%. But when you shun the whole when you shun the whole group, that means something wrong with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm with. I'm like, listen, and I've been almost to that point of being anti-black. But the thing of it is, I had my family, I had other black people that I interact with, and they show me like, look, yeah, there's some black people who ain't worth a damn, but there are ones that are, and that's why I keep focusing on, and that's why there's certain channels that I go to that I know that want black people to come together, and I go to them. I don't venture off too much into these hate black men, hate black women channels. I listen for a little bit, but then I'm like, oh, I can't deal with that all day. No, like now you just blaming black people for your problems, and you don't want to look in that mirror and fix them. So shoot, man, that's when it's time to step off, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. All right, brother. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day, man. This has been a great live stream. I'm glad I was able to get this, because this was something I was looking forward to. Because when I saw that live stream, man, I was like, wow. It really, like I said, I've watched him slowly but surely for the last 6 months or more.
Yeah.
And then finally I was like, you know what? I think I can't. This obviously showed me what he truly was. Now I didn't have you. So obviously you've seen him on other channels and other platforms. I never had an opportunity to see him on other channels doing things.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I've seen him. Like I said, BMT. Yeah. Then I saw him on the Ebony Star Network. And the funniest thing with him, the men kick him out. The men don't want him there.
Right.
That's a problem. And that Max over there who runs the Ebony Star Network, he loves black women. He's hard on black men. But he'll let me on because even though there's some things I don't agree with him on that, They let me on there. I'm cool with everybody over there. And him and that other lady, it isn't just me. They tried to get me kicked off of there because they was trying to say they were trying to get me kicked out.
Real skin with the afro that's always on this channel.
No, that light skinned lady.
Oh, the light skin when that was on the
Yeah,
same.
yeah, they was trying to get me kicked out of there.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't do it. They kicked them out of there. That should tell you something. And
Wow.
they love, particularly black women. They love black women over there. When the black woman is saying she need to go, he need to go, that's a problem. That's a problem with you.
Right.
So,
right.
and I've been you know, that's why I said that guy. He's no good. And it's sad that there are a lot of black women who support this guy. It's like the Derrick Jackson thing in reverse. It's like, I mean, it's like a Derrick Jackson thing.
Right.
He's telling them what they want to hear, but when something happens, one of them disagree, or he get into another relationship with a black woman. He heard it. She heard his heart. He gonna turn, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I told you.
All right, Brother Speak. Well said, brother. Well,
All right.
I want you all to check out Brother Speak podcast, man. He says some good stuff, man. Go check him out. Other than that, brother, appreciate you for coming in. You have a great evening, man.
No problem, Dieter. You have a good one.
Peace.